Alright guys, welcome back again to my channel. Even a blind man and a deaf man knows that 2023 election was rigged. So now INEC are pushing to actually bring out those evidences now. But my question is, why are they doing it now? Why didn't they do it then? Why didn't they do it then when it mattered? Even all those people that are coming out now to say that the PWB won the election, why didn't they come out and say it then when it would have mattered? But now all of them, because they've been neglected by the APC that they worked for, all of them all of a sudden now are now trying to bring out the truth. Just watch this video to the end and let me get your thoughts and views in the comment section.
Very recently, El-Rufai, through his son, released a purported result sheet indicating that 2023 elections was rigged to favor the president and not Peter Obi, whom they said actually won. Baba Chilawal came on a Monitor television program to say the same thing, that they know how they went about it, but that Peter Obi was the one who actually won the 2023 elections based on what they said, not based on what INEC announced. Now, that's not the only person who had also made such a statement. You recall Rotimi Amechi, when he was on a recent space, I think this was late last month, before the month of August, either late last month or early this month, Rotimi Amechi also alluded to the same rhetoric that Peter Obi won in Rivers State, but he doesn't know how they changed the result. So Nigerians are asking questions that, will the case be reopened by the Supreme Court to investigate all of these allegations? And the individuals who are beginning to spill, specifically El-Rufai, who is currently not in the books, the good books of the administration, who has decided to take it upon himself to ensure that the president doesn't return in 2027. Will they be able to speak? How will they prove all they have been saying, that the elections were rigged and that INEC announced something that was false or untrue? This is basically what we want to ask our legal practitioner as to what the proceeding is and what the authentication of this information would be like. Nigerians asking this question: what is a potential legal requirement for this if there is probable evidence to prove otherwise? For a case that is already closed, then, is it possible to reopen it? What form of investigation will this take? That's one. Two, wouldn't it take a lot of resources and time? The president is almost done with his tenure, campaigning for his second term already. So in what way do you want to go about this information? So what happens then if the results found out to be something else? Then you ask the president to step down when his administration for the first term is almost done. We're going to be looking into this case as well. And the actors who have been speaking so brazenly and boldly now, who were part of the All Progressives Congress at the time, didn't they just indict themselves to be persons who were involved in rigging elections? They're culpable to be arrested anyway. So you are reeling out something now just because you're no longer in the APC, but you were part of the process on something that you are accusing the administration of. All right, we're looking into that in the course of the conversation. Everything. Let me start off with this very important case. So I don't know if you heard El-Rufai, or not necessarily heard. He actually brought out a results sheet indicating that the 2023 elections was rigged and it was rigged in favor of the president, that the result that was announced by INEC is not what it is. He brought out the supposed results. Then that's not the only person that seemed to make such a statement. Baba Chilawal, on the Monitor television program, national broadcast, internationally watched, also alluded to the same rhetoric. That's not the only person that made such a statement. Rotimi Amechi, on an X, when he was talking about his presidency, also alluded to the fact that in Rivers State, Peter Obi won the elections, but he doesn't know how the results are changed. So Nigerians are now asking questions as to what this means legally. Is it possible for the Supreme Court to reopen the case to investigate all of these things, these narratives being spilled out by individuals who used to be in the All Progressives Congress? And will Baba Chilawal and El-Rufai be able to come out and speak in reaction to these things as supposedly new evidence or witnesses to what transpired in 2023? And if that is the case, what is the procedure? What's your take on this?
Well, thank you very much. Unfortunately, the matter is closed.
Okay.
The Supreme Court cannot revisit this issue. But Nigerians should now realize the kind of rascals they have in higher. People like El-Rufai, Baba Chilawal, and all those son men, they knew all these facts and they kept quiet. They're only now talking because the Bola Tinubu team has not favored them. They're ashamed of themselves. They're not making revelations. Nigerians should realize that most of these characters who we call leaders are actually imbecile, idiots, that should be stoned. I mean, we should pray revolted against these people. And then when they come and tell us whatever crap as leaders, we should be able to tell them to go to hell. It's a shame. Nigerians knew this. Nigerians knew who they voted. Nigerians knew that there was no way we could have elected somebody who pays fines for drug trafficking as our president. Nigerians know that Bola Tinubu never won elections, and Bola Tinubu knows it. The world knows it. That we are being ruled by somebody who never won elections. So we don't need an El-Rufai or Bachelor want to tell us whatever. We know. But they have only exposed themselves as miscreants that are not reliable. I will just won't bother with them next time they open them up to say whatsoever. That's how it is for now.
Oh, okay, but Barrister Eze Eluche, the thing is, these individuals used to be in the APC and now they are coming out to spill all of this. We have not seen any of the security agencies invite them for questioning. I mean, in a sane climb, this kind of thing is treasonable, where you deliberately disenfranchise people from their choice. I mean, every individual has a right to vote whom they want to vote for. If you take that right from them, you have literally stifled them, you've disenfranchised them. Investigations are meant to commence when such narratives begin to come out by these high-profile individuals who were once members of this government, especially under the All Progressives Congress. But we've not heard any of the quarters and the security agencies say anything about it. So what does it mean? Are they afraid, or do they think that they're just spilling whatever and that nothing will happen if they don't have any facts to prove otherwise? It's just talk. If it were another individual or an ordinary Nigerian who spills all of this, wouldn't the DSS or any of the security operators, especially the NIA or whoever, invite those persons for questioning for them to bring proof of the allegations they are making?
Who do you expect to conduct this investigation? Is it an IGP of police, whose tenure has long expired and was illegally extended by Bola Tinubu? Or is it the DSS and other security agencies where Mr. Tinubu has chosen people based on tribal and sentimental reasons? I mean, we are in a mess. Nigeria is a narco state. That's the bottom line of it. You cannot even, who will investigate who? Mr. IGP of police, he lacks the capacity to even investigate anything because he's there illegally and unlawfully. And I'm saying this empirically because the fact is this: his tenure has long expired. You do not extend the tenure while somebody he knows how long he was still staying in service, and so his tenure is expired and is there illegally. So unfortunately, we're in this mix, we're in this fix, and then we cannot even lodge any complaint. But the reality is this: what we should take this whole scenario is this: the elements who portray themselves as our rulers know they are not there by our choice. We didn't elect them. When somebody steals votes by arms, especially an robber, and when the government is in real terms, unfortunately, Nigerians just have to realize that come 2027, it should be decided that enough is enough. And when next they try to rig elections, we should ensure that they don't succeed. Because if we say, okay, they will kill us, we all die. Nigeria is now the land of the living dead. People are just dropping dead by the way every day. Because of the case, they don't even have money to pay hospital bills. So we have, our eyes are not open, they normally say. We have learned that these people who are, these characters ruling over us are not worthy of the name they bear. We cannot even report or lodge complaints to the police because they are there illegally. So the next opportunity is 2027. We should make sure that we don't make mistakes. And if they try and rig again, we tell them it will not work. Thank you.
Thank you, Barrister Eze Eluche. It all depends on Nigerians on how they intend to ensure that it doesn't work, because a recently concluded by-election with a couple of malpractices that were witnessed in some of the polling units. I don't know how INEC as an institution is ready to ensure that such anomaly will not take place in 2027. Okay, it was meant to be a test run as to their capability to ensure that what happened during the off-season elections or by-elections, specifically for the governorship off-season governorship elections between Bayelsa, Imo State, Kogi State, would not repeat itself. Unfortunately, it seems to be a pattern with the institution anytime they conduct elections. So it all depends on how Nigerians painstakingly protect their votes come 2027. Barrister, let's look at the federal government, especially President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Yes, a couple of economic analysts say his policy on paper is brilliant. If it is followed through as is on paper, Nigeria's economy will blossom. But a lot of them feel that what is on paper is different from what is being implemented, and that there is a general apathy from the government to the people. And because of that, the government has come under heavy scrutiny, and they're asked to provide transparency in its 2025 fiscal activities, as key public records on federal spending have become largely inaccessible. So during the World News at 6, I had Barrister Fred Nzako as my analyst, and we talked about this. The Central Bank of Nigeria has failed to release its monthly economic reports beyond February 2025, leaving a gap of at least 5 months unaccounted for. Equally concerning is the state of the Open Treasury Portal, a platform designed to allow real-time tracking of government spending, which currently does not display any 2025 expenditure from federal ministries, departments, and agencies. Barrister Eze Eluche, just in March, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually asked for a loan from the National Assembly for requesting legislative approval for a new external borrowing plan amounting to over $21.5 billion and a domestic issuance bond of 757.9 billion naira to settle outstanding national pension liabilities. These pension liabilities, a couple of the pensioners said they haven't gotten it. That's not the only thing the president said he wanted the money for. He said it aims to generate employment, promote skill acquisition, foster entrepreneurship, reduce poverty, enhance food security, and also improve the livelihoods of Nigerians with that money. But none of that is happening. This was in March and this is August. So why are we not seeing the dividends or how that money was utilized on the portal for transparency and accountability?
Well, the unfortunate reality is this. Every day we have more evidence that this government, it's what we expected of a government headed by somebody who had paid fines for drug trafficking and money laundering related to the United States government.
Okay.
The sad part of it is that somebody we had held in high esteem, like Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala, the Director General of the World Trade Organization,
yes,
a few days ago was applauding the economic policies, the economic plans of this gang, because it's an aberration to refer to the Bola Tinubu-led group as a government, because the government is accountable to the people. All these things you've mentioned, the economic indices, the budgetary, the quarterly news from the State Central Bank, and the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, we should be telling Nigerians how their monies are being spent. It's not available to the public. But Nigeria has actually become a catastrophe. A government ruled by the very worst of our people. A country that is blessed with so much intellectuals, so much people who are making strides across the world in technology, in science, in medicine. We are stuck with these characters who are stealing us blind. And the National Assembly, unfortunately, like I also mentioned, keeps on approving whatever this regime brings before their table, without even any accountability. Although we hear the voice of some senators asking for details, because you cannot ask for billions of dollars loan for infrastructure. What are the infrastructures you are using it for? So daily, we are being faced with the reality that once we allow election rigging to continue, we will have a life to pay for it. We allow the miscreants to get into office with the electoral haze of 2023 and see how we are suffering. Every day, we keep on making all these revelations of monumental thefts, monumental grafts, large-scale corruption. And there's no answer to it. It's who they impose. Such as this Olukoyede, who is in the EFCC as chairman.
Yeah.
These frauds continue every day, and what this character does is to butter young boys who are pressing
do you think Olukoyede is handicapped? Do you think he's handicapped?
He's not handicapped.
I've heard that man speak on several occasions, and he seems sincere, but a little bit limited or stifled to the extent that he wants to do what he wants to do. So do you think there are political situations blocking him or obstructing him from going full on these individuals?
Mr. Olukoyede of the EFCC was appointed for a purpose. Even his appointment was illegitimate. He's unlawfully there as EFCC chairman. He's not qualified by the tenure of the EFCC Act to even be the vice chairman. So he is there for a purpose, and he is fulfilling that purpose very, very well. All the revelations of fraud that is going on, he does not bother. All he wants is to appease the foreign countries and maybe the Western countries and say, I have arrested somebody who's into love scams, I have arrested somebody who's into 419. Come on, these guys are stealing peanuts. The main rascals who are destroying the Nigerian economy are the ministers, the people in the government, and the presidency. And absolutely nothing has happened to bring these guys to account. Nothing. It's quite unfortunate, but we hope that all these things will let Nigerians know that the next elections, we must put a stop to this nonsense, because there's simply no better word to describe it than absolute nonsense, because the effect is telling on Nigerians. Nigerians of all walks of life, of all professional levels, are having to scramble across the desert, sail across the Mediterranean to seek a better life. Why can't we come back here and tell these characters who are messing up our country, messing up our lives, that enough is enough? And 2027 is the time that Nigerians are called upon. I understand that there's this movement that if you read, you die.
Yes.
And it's very, very, it is constitutional. Because when under the Nigerian constitution, if somebody tries to rob you or come and steal your life or steal your property or destroy your property or your house, it is allowed to kill. It is allowed to stop that person by any means possible. So if somebody again in 2027 wants to come and put us in this same position that the Bola Tinubu regime has put Nigerians, I will call on Nigerians to come out and defend themselves by possible.
Barrister,
keep on complaining, it does not make any sense.
All right, Barrister, again, let it not seem like there is a deliberate attack, or will I say malignment of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So let me paint the scenario so that I can get to hear from you objectively. For the past 8 years of former President Muhammadu Buhari, Nigerians went through a lot. Okay, I mean, things got a little bit, not just a little bit, things were actually hard. All right, insecurity was the order of the day. There was literal chaos in most regions of the country, and the corruption that the administration of late Muhammadu Buhari promised to actually fight, he did nothing. It actually got worse. He did not revitalize the Nigerian economy, and neither did he provide security. Those were the tripod that was the base of his administration for 8 years. And one of the very core reasons why Nigerians voted for him in 2015 was that he was going to combat the menace of insecurity, which was what plagued towards the end part of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on board. He knew what he inherited, even if he said he was going to continue from where Muhammadu Buhari stopped. Do you think that when he was campaigning, he didn't realize what he was going to face when he got in there to see how bad things had become? Is it possible that the president's intention is actually for the benefit of Nigerians, but there are certain persons who have surrounded him, or persons who are supposedly meant to work for the people and not work for him, are the ones not actualizing the potential that the president has or has in mind for Nigerians? I just need your objective analysis on that.
Nigerians must disabuse their minds of that retrogressive idea that we have a saint who is in the president, who is president, but surrounded by criminals. Show me your friends and I'll show you, tell you who you are. Mr. Bola Tinubu is very, very, he knows what he's doing. He's very, very intentional. He knew what he was doing. He even revealed some of these things. He said he will conscript the economy, broaden the tax net.
And reduce the purchasing power.
And reduce the purchasing power. So he knows everything he's doing. And he's selected characters that will fall in line with him and do exactly what he's doing. That was why on day one, he announced the lifting of the what do they call it? The so-called allowances that was given for petroleum. He removed it, the subsidies rather. He removed it without any safety net, without any foreknowledge, any thought. And that was when the whole process of crumbling started. That was like when he came in, he made sure he was very nepotistic, very ethnocentric in forming his government. Till tomorrow he's doing it. He's ensuring that only people, mainly people from the southwest, are populated regime, irrespective of how terribly inefficient and unqualified these characters are. He has continued on that path. So and there will be no change. It will only get worse. And he's doing it as if there's nothing he can do. He says, it's my turn. But Nigerians will now tell you that come 2027, it will be the turn of Nigerians, our local. And we will have to tell him that, like in Igbo language, there's this adage. You can cook, one person can cook for the community will eat. But when the community cooks for you, you cannot finish it. Nigerians will ensure that we will tell these characters in government that this is our country, we don't have any other place to go to, and we are going to decide who will rule this country. Now,
Barrister Eze Eluche, are you very sure with this testament you just made? During the by-election, some individuals sold their votes for as low as 10,000 naira. So again, are you sure Nigerians will speak the voice or say what you're saying? A lot of things are actually at play. Do you think Nigerians are actually willing for this change you're talking about? If the people are hungry, if they are starving, and hunger has been used as a weapon, how do you think this will affect their potential to do what you're suggesting now in 2027?
Well, they have to be made to realize that poverty has been weaponized. When you have been made to popularized in a way that you can't even think straight, people are selling their bodies to eat. So what is 10,000 naira? Girls are selling their bodies. Young men who were brought up in very upright homes are having to venture into crimes to eat. So these characters will not have weaponized poverty. They have made sure that they've made everybody wretched, that you must come to them to beg for food. But then Nigerians will just have to realize that, look, this thing cannot continue. And there must be a breaking limit, there's a breaking point. Even in human endurance, there comes a time when there will be a breaking point. And I think Nigerians have far past that breaking point. When you hope that they realize and they collect together and put an end to this. Because otherwise, it's getting to a time whereby people will be dropping dead on the street. We're not fighting a war, and already we're having cases of malnutrition, cases of hunger-related deaths. So when a war breaks out, God forbid, what will happen in this country? This will also take charge of.
Barrister Eze Eluche, let's look at the economic impact.
I believe that Nigerians will rise up to the
All right, let's look at the economic impact of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's borrowing trajectory for more than 25 or 26 months since he assumed power. The debt profile soared to 56.6 trillion naira as of when the country was 23 months old, like when he assumed for 23 months, and is reflecting that the nation's helmsman has taken a monumental loan to fix the economy and improve the country's human development indices. But here is where it actually gets dicey, Barrister Fred. With the World Bank's approval of a fresh $1.08 billion loan to Nigeria to support education, nutrition, and economic resilience in the country, the total public debt is now above 144.67 trillion naira, which a couple of financial experts say is worrisome. So this is the reason why the administration came under scrutiny. With all of this borrowings and all of this money, how come nobody has tabled it down to say this money is borrowed, this is what it was used for? For the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, this is what it was used for all of the roads, federal government roads undergoing repairs, this is how much has been budgeted for it, and this is basically how much has been spent or utilized. The Minister of Works gets to put his own amount that was given to him, how much money has been spent on the execution of some of these projects. For subsidy on healthcare, how much has been approved and how much has been sent to all of these federal hospitals. For now fund education, all of this, we're not seeing the update on the portal. So where is all this borrowing and all the monies? Where are they going to? Who is utilizing them? What are they being used for?
Thank you very much. In past times, Nigerians used to hold so much hope for comments from groups like the World Bank, the World Trade Organization, and all such international Bretton Woods institutions. The comment of the country should give us an insight into what these characters are like. They don't give a damn about the people. They just want figures. And the most of these funds are looted. Looted not just by the local politicians, but in collaboration with these foreign elements. Maybe I'll give you a clear example. If you are a bank and you are giving money to somebody who you know is a thief, who is stealing the funds, will you continue to give? Unless you are sure that you are getting part of the loot. So that is what happened with World Bank loans. They know very well that these loans are not coming to Nigeria. To them, it's a business. They are part of the rot, part of the scam of this country. And I mean, this is the real fact. That is why in several other countries, World Bank and their like institutions are revolted against. That's why this kind of government is the one that's embracing people like Bill Gates. And the Nigerians think, okay, the richest man in the world. You don't know this guy is actually a killer moving around. I mean, in several countries in the world, Bill Gates is facing criminal charges. In America, his own country, he dare not utter the nonsense he comes to sell in Nigeria. But because he knows he has parties in Nigerian government who don't give a damn about the country they rule over, that's why they come and appear as if they are foreigners interested in our well-being. Nigerians are getting wiser, and we should know that these foreign interests, the foreign banks that are giving those loans, they know that the loans are fraudulent. They know that the loans are not being used. Okay, you give somebody a loan for 15 trillion to build the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. Less than 6 months, only 30 kilometers have been said to have been completed. The first rain that fell is washing away that 30 kilometers. And you're still giving them more loans. Does that not tell you that even the World Bank is a bunch of criminals? And that it's a couple that you think that their white skin is only that they're better off. They cannot, and we thank God that there's somebody like Donald Trump, who is the president of the US, who is putting them where they belong, telling them up in the proper sense. And hopefully when we have right-thinking Nigerians who are in power, these errors will be corrected, and it has to be corrected for our own good.
All right, Barrister Ezeruchi, I know you know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu traveled for the Tokyo International Conference on African Development TCAD 9 in Japan. Well, there is a problem right now. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is criticizing the administration of the president. Based on a statement which he shared on his social media platform, he described the ongoing show that at TCAD 9 as a shame, that there were absence of officials at a critical international investment forum, and that is a reflection of poor governance. So it's an international forum. Each of these countries have their booth. No Nigerian official was in the booth. Somebody came on X earlier today and said that he came there and it was quite disappointing that he did not see any Nigerian official on their own booth. He had to take it upon himself to speak with some of these international delegates, tell them the potential and the trade opportunities found in Nigeria, and that it's a show of shame coming from the administration, especially or the entourage of the president, being the fact that anytime he travels with an entourage. So it's like the people he traveled with are not ready to properly represent. And so again, many Nigerians also question the government's country's preparedness and commitment to attracting foreign partnerships at a forum specifically designed to deepen Africa's development ties with Japan and other global partners. But there are talks that the official conference or open, when the booth will officially be open, will be tomorrow. But there were other country representatives who were at their booth today. So what does that tell you?
That tells you that you ask yourself, who did Mr. Tinubu take to Tokyo for this meeting? His wife, his cooks, his stewards, his hangers on. What experts did they take? What companies did he take? Not zero. And when we think that Mr. Tinubu travels abroad, you ask yourself, when he's in Nigeria, what is he taking? Can we in Nigeria even hear what the man is talking about?
Bayo Nanugari is actually defending the president and said that what the person came to say on social media is just misrepresentation. That Nigeria's participation at TCAD 9 is focused on high-level engagements rather than trade exhibitions. So that the trendy social media narratives about an empty booth labeled Nigeria totally misrepresented our country's mission and activities at the conference. That the president is going to engage with top persons, their children of those in Japan, and not necessarily for trading whatever. Does that make sense to you, Barrister Ezeluche?
It does not, my dear, it doesn't make sense. I mean, who can engage in Katumbo? You need ideas, you need to have interaction, you need to have to speak well, to even be engaged with. But who can interact with, who can engage with Katumbo? We should not fool ourselves. We don't think that, are we thinking that when he travels out, he becomes better at speaking? He gets better at speaking off the script? No. And you see, the fact is this, these foreign investors, they are not idiots. They look at the internet, they look at news, they have their local means of gathering information. They don't need you to come and market your country, they already know you more than you know your country. So before Mr. Tinubu had arrived in Tokyo, they would have gone through his biodata, they would have gone through his dossier, they know who they are meeting. And they know that how business works in Nigeria. What are you going to give me to get what you want? So that is not what any serious businessman wants to deal with. That is why anybody who says is shocked or embarrassed with what Mr. Tinubu does in Tokyo does not understand the Nigerian system. The international investors will not come near him. The ones that will come near him are the deal men, the dealers, such as the Lebanese, the Saudis, the South Africans, who want to strike very deals that are below par. You will not see Americans or people who come from countries where there is rule of law, because they know that it does not work in this country. So let us not deceive ourselves. I mean, he can travel all the way, yes. He's getting the data code. He's using the private jet to move around. His pilots, his paid are making millions from this second. But what is Nigeria getting from all this? We ever sat down to ask Mr. President, sir, you went to Rio, you went to ABC country. What has been the return on investment? It's absolutely zero. Rather, I will all Nigerians, when they travel abroad, ask yourself, did he buy properties in Japan? Or did any of his aides buy properties in Japan? Because that's what these guys do abroad. Just buy, and they leave this country poor by the day.
Exactly, like the case of Wike, who purchased a $2.something billion mansion in Florida, $2 million Florida mansion using his wife's name and that of his children. You recall that recently there have been calls for an increase in salary of the president, the vice president, ministers, senators, and legislators. That the base at which they pay them their salary is outdated, is the pattern of 2008, and that the current economic reality is different from 2008. But you have a minister who obviously purchased a mansion in March and registered under the names of his wife and that of his children. And you know that that's not the only mansion he has. That mansion he bought was built in 1997 with a two-story structure sitting on a 4,076 square foot. That's not the only acquisition he has made. When he became the FCT minister, he acquired lands under the names of his two sons. So what is going on here, Barrister Ezeluche? What are we doing? And who would question all of this? Who would question all of this about the seven minister?
Thank you very much. You see, when this news broke out, I am very reluctant to speak on news being thrown on the net media without any proof. I made direct inquiries from realtors, from estate agents in Florida, and the discovery was shocking. To start with, the house was not bought by Wike in the past 2 months. It was bought in 2010.
Okay.
The house was bought in 2010 and it was about $500,000, but now it is valued at over $2 million. The more shocking discovery is that one of the houses adjoining to that building is also owned in the name of Wike and his wife.
Wow.
So it's not just one property. I mean, I can share the documents with you. I have the proof of the transcripts of sale of that property.
Kindly send it to my WhatsApp, please. I will sincerely appreciate that. I will do that after it. While the program is going on, I will share it with you. So the reality is that this guy that made it in one location in Florida, that Mr. Wike has two properties, and these are not small properties. They are hefty buildings. They sit on acres of land, and this is a public servant. Since Mr. Wike left
the university, the law school. He has been a government employee, so his income can be calculated. And then you can imagine when he's purchasing buildings worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, now valued in millions. And these are the kind of rascal elements who are working with Mr. Bola Tinubu. But we expect that because Mr. Tinubu is no different. He is absolutely no different. So I mean, those who are Mike will be laughing, say, why are you focusing on me? I only have about 10 or 20 houses abroad. All of us who have 50. So that Nigerians should be especially revolt against this process and say enough is enough. Why would a serving minister be owning some properties and have the guts to be demolishing houses in Abuja, which some people built with the sweat of their income? But he's able to buy properties in America with looted funds. And when I say looted funds, there is no other thing but looted funds, because you have a man who, since he left youth service, has been working either as a local government chairman or perhaps a deputy governor or whatever. He has been in government, so his income can be calculated. And I assure you, all of Wike's income, official income, cannot reach to buy a house of $500,000 in America. Not to talk of having at least two in the same neighborhood in Florida. And then you ask yourself, when a group like the EFCC keeps on hounding people who do 419 and all that, but you wonder, are these guys, are they not nuts? Are they well? And I have discovered that there appears to be a conspiracy, even by the FCC, to stop Nigerians from investing their looted funds in Nigeria. Otherwise, why would the FCC have the guts to go and start harassing MSCLA for the so-called estate built in Abuja, which may not even be worth the amount of one of these houses Wike stole, Wike bought his looted funds in Florida? I mean, there has been no effort by EFCC whatsoever, and I say whatsoever, to recover funds repatriated from Nigeria to abroad by these characters who are ruling us. But every day they say they have arrested Nigerians and hand them over to the US government, to Britain, to France. How many have you brought back home to Nigeria? Or were you set up to help foreign countries? I mean, we should begin to ask questions. Whether these characters who loot money reinvest their loot in Nigeria. I mean, it has gotten that bad. Because at least you are building, you stole Nigerian money and you're using it to build in Nigeria. Okay, but these characters like Wike you mentioned, he's stealing Nigerian money from us and he's buying estates in Florida. And this is a discovery I made from just the news of the one building. If one is given enough time, more properties purchased by Wike across America and Britain, because these guys keep records. With regards to Wike's the property by Wike, it is owned in the name of the wife, who is a judge of the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
And one of the sons. The other one is owned, one of them is the Berichi and Joachim. The other one is the Berichi and the other son, who are minors. So, if the Court of Appeal judge is part of this scam, that will tell you how rotten the system is. And I'm seeing this as a lawyer of over 30 years experience. Let the Berichi, who is a judge of the Court of Appeal, come and say what I'm saying is wrong. She dare not. If in St. Clair, such character as Justice Berichi Wike will resign from office as a Court of Appeal judge. But she's still sitting there judging over cases. What absolute nonsense is this? People say, why is the word nonsense about these characters and overstepping my bounds? No, my dear. I am a Nigerian. I don't have any other country but this country. I've traveled the world extensively. I could have stayed back. But I come back home and I have rascal criminal elements ruling over me. I have all the right to be annoyed with these characters who are ruling us. And I wish every Nigerian also has that ability to call a spade, call a thief, call a criminal. Nothing will happen. When you are born, the next is to die. And at the same way, like I keep on saying, we in Nigeria, we are the living dead. It's only a matter of time.
Well, Barrister Eza, you made a very important point that just like you're a legal expert, based on the code of conduct for judicial officers, judges are required to avoid situations that could compromise or appear to compromise their impartiality. Do you think this has tainted the reputation of the wife, especially when it comes to handling certain sensitive cases, whatever judgment that comes from her? Do you think this would affect that? Hello, Barrister.
I didn't hear you very well.
I said you made a very salient point here when you disclosed that the fact legal experts like yourself note that the code of conduct for judicial officers, judges are required to avoid situations that could compromise or appear to compromise their impartiality, especially when it comes to the dispense of their duties. Like, being a judge, you definitely decide the fate of one's existence or not. Do you think the situation, being that she's a judge, do you think this will affect her profession, being linked to this?
You see, the problem we have in this country is even the Chief Justice of the country, who presides over the panel that will question these judges, was also the same judge who presided over the matter that made the person who came forth in an election the governor of my home state, Imo State. So what do you expect from that kind of situation? But definitely, clearly, the position of Justice Berry Chinwike is not defendable. She cannot justify, based on her salary as a judge, that she and one of her infant children, also minor children, are able to purchase properties in the US of that amount. I mean, in same countries, she will resign out of shame. But unfortunately, we have shameless characters in our judiciary. Shameless. And these are the characters that will...
Barrister S.L. Barrister, the network is disappointing. Hello. Okay, I'm going to call Barrister S.L. back. The network is really disappointing right about now. He's really not in Lagos as we're speaking. Mr. Lawal Ekundayo, let me hear from you. I would say that this is a daunting period for Nigerians when we begin to hear information like this of our political leaders who are meant to eschew empathy towards their people, who are meant to live a life that is transparent, but rather they give off brazen tendencies that splodges it on the face of the people that there is nothing they can do. Yesterday evening, Wike was on a monitored television program. Basically, he was speaking about Amechi and literally determining the future of Amechi, that he can never be the president of Nigeria. He can never win President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He literally made that statement like he was a god somehow. Now, that's not the only thing. These are cases concerning him that I am very certain Larry Olayinka, his spokesperson, is already going to respond to this as soon as possible. I don't know what excuse they will give. You remember that of the lands that he purchased in Abuja, where there was evidence. All of that was disclosed by the People's Gazette. They defended it. Nigerians just spoke for a while and later everything was down. What do you think is the issue that politicians do what they like to do? Government agents and officials who are meant to be accountable to the people do what they do. Nobody questions them. Even when a few people do, they don't even care. They're not worried and nothing happens.
Even the INEC know that that election was rigged, because when Supreme Court gave an order to put up this lawyer that they shouldn't get the result from the election, the INEC refused. But why did Supreme Court push further for INEC to release that result? They all kept mute. All of a sudden, from nowhere, Bashir El-Rufai, the list of them started coming out now to say that Obi won the election, and it was rigged, this one, that one. Why didn't they come out 2023 when people was fighting? People nearly fought everybody to make sure that result that they gave the correct figure. But everybody that could have talked backed off because they had one or two to benefit from APC. So all of a sudden, because they can't benefit anymore, they are coming out now to expose that it was rigged for APC. This one, that one. When we saw it clearly, where people are being chased out from their polling unit, we saw the videos clearly. The INEC did not see that one. Supreme Court did not see that one. We saw people with the ballot box running. INEC and Supreme Court did not see that one. We saw people selling their votes. Some people with big money, bundles on the line, sharing money to people to sell their votes or to go and overvote. The Supreme Court did not see that video. All of a sudden, they turned blind. They did not see the video. That election went for 2 years. They did not even call up the real results for us to know. Then tomorrow, they are complaining about next election. If we in Nigeria don't decide to take up our responsibility, which is making sure we go there and cast our vote to the person we want, say no to vote buying, say no to overvoting, and say no to bribery and corruption. Because those money they will give us, or they will give you that will collect as bribes to go and sell your vote, is not going to be enough for you alone. Talk more of your family. Think about that. It won't be enough for you alone. Talk more of you and your family. But yet some people are still going there to collect those tokens they call bribe. Let's do our part, then let's leave the rest for INEC. Because last election, you can't even blame INEC fully, because some people still stole ballot box. Some people still sold their votes, and all these people are still hungry Nigerians. So I assure we did our part, which we all went there to vote for the person we want, because I don't even trust people anymore. They can come online and be shouting Obi. On that day, they will go and vote another person because they were bribed or because his friend told him to go and do so. So I'm not even blaming 100% on INEC. I'm blaming some to Nigerians, because if we can do our own part by going there to make sure we vote the person we want to vote, then let's now wait for the INEC to do their thing. Then we can fully blame them. So come 2027, let's make it right by voting who want to vote and say no to bribery and corruption. So all your views in the comments section. I'll look at my next video.